Hey gang, Uncle Todd here, and we're looking at the new episode of Star Trek for this week. And whew, what an episode it was. Probably one of the most heart-wrenching, serious episodes the series has had. It opens with the Enterprise transporting a Klingon ambassador known as Doc Ra, infamous for the battles that were on the planet Jakka, in which he earned the nickname the Butcher of Jakka because during the evacuation, he killed all of his own men. He had also ordered anyone who was not, during the fighting, anyone who was not a Klingon soldier was to be executed. Humans, Klingons, children, anyone not a Klingon soldier, dead. And now he's trying to make amends by being an ambassador seeking to get peace between Starfleet, Klingon Empire, and other planets that the Klingon has invaded and or been at war with. Well, this doesn't sit too well with a lot of the people on the crew, like Ortiz, who fought in that battle, and especially not for Chapel and Dr. Mega. They worked at a hospital that dealt with a lot of the casualties and the wounded soldiers and everything. And it was pretty bad. In the flashbacks, we see that they're doing what they used to call unmashed meatball surgery. They did not have enough supplies, medical supplies. They didn't have an organ regenerator or any of the modern stuff. They were basically cutting people open and trying to stem the bleeding that way. And at one point, Chapel has to literally reach into a man's chest and massage the heart to get it to start beating again. And at this time period, that is like something unseen or unheard of, because they've got all that medical technology, but they're so low on supplies, they've got to do it the old-fashioned way, what Dr. McCoy would have called barbarism, Inquisition, like he did in Star Trek 4. But, and who runs the hospital? None other than everyone's favorite character actor, Clint Howard. Always love him in a appearance. Whether he's the ice cream man or an air traffic controller, he's always good value in a acting sense. Well, the ambassador arrives and he's wanting to tour the ship and he's wanting to talk to people, and this is becoming a very tense ship because of it. And they have a little dinner, and Mbenga and Chapel have to be there, so does Ortiz, and they don't want to be, and there's tension, and it ends on a tense note. And then we learn Doc Ra came to the Enterprise specifically to see Mbenga. He is a well-respected hero among Starfleet as a doctor and in his previous life as a soldier. Technically, he was an assassin, but we'll get into that later. He thinks that the two of them together can bring peace much quicker. They don't have to be friends. They just have to be allies. Bing is not too sure about that. And during the flashbacks, we learn that Mbenga was actually a spy and assassin called the Ghost. He could slip in, kill his target, and slip out, sight unseen. But he's a doctor now. He It's also where we learn that he came up with that adrenaline enhancement that he and Chapel took last season or early this season. Well, the one where they were fighting all the Klingons. I think it was this season. Well, it doesn't matter. I'll put it down below. Anywho, he turned down the request to go in with a strike team to take out Dak-Ra. He's a doctor now. Can't do it. And throughout the flashbacks, we see things getting worse, and the strike team all comes back dead. And everything has gone down to the point where they can't hold positions anymore. Everybody has to evacuate. And M'Benga grabs a Klingon dagger from one of the bodies and tells Chapel he's going to put a stop to this. Please wait till the last minute. He gives her a tricorder, so that she can find him. And he asks her to wait till the last minute before beaming him back. Then we come to, also Chapel's war experience and her trying to deal with Dak-Ra on the ship is putting a bit of a strain on her relationship with Spock, as if it wasn't hard enough with him being unemotional and trying to, they are star-crossed, and it's always going to be issues with them. But as we get towards the end, they are in sick bay, and turns out M'Benga still has that dagger. He's got it out. It's in his. He was looking through his old war memorials, as it were, and Dak-Ra comes to see him to see if he's thought about it. How about that partnership? And he says he can't because he will not align himself with a fraud. And Dak-Ra doesn't know what he means. And it's then that we learn Dak-Ra didn't kill his own men. Dak-Ra had fought with them and had been injured and had run off to escape. And while he was escaping, M'Benga killed all the other high-ranking Klingon officials in a bloodbath. Something he has to live with. And as he tells Dak-Ra, "You made me a monster. I am the butcher of Jakar." Well, this causes a problem because Dak-Ra has built his entire reputation as a ambassador and peace negotiator on the fact that he killed all his own men. And that he's trying to atone for that. But if it ever comes out, he did not do that and has been living a lie. The utter humiliation would be too much. And he owes Starfleet too much because they're the ones that found him and saved him when he was badly wounded. And then Nurse Chapel comes in and she sees the two men fighting. We see it from behind a screen where it's kind of blurry. We can't really tell what's going on. We just know two men are struggling, and then we hear a, "No, don't." And then they come around, and Dak-Ra is dead. The Klingon dagger in his chest. The ship's computer examines the dagger and finds that there is DNA on it of Dak-Ra and of the other high-ranking soldiers that were killed on Jakar, and no one else's. So officially, it is ruled a suicide. Nurse Chapel's story is that M'Benga had told Dak-Ra he would not be in a partnership with a war criminal, which set Dak-Ra off, and they fought, and Dak-Ra ended up killing himself, or was killed accidentally. But he is the only one who had handled the blade, or the handle. So It was either accident or suicide. Pike goes to talk to M'Benga, and M'Benga does not deny he could have killed Dakra, but he doesn't deny that he didn't. We're left with a very ambiguous ending in which could go either way, but Pike's not going to do anything, we know that. And M'Benga has a really, really good statement. Pike served, but he never really fought in those kind of battles. He has the luxury of optimism. M'Benga has seen and done too much to ever overcome a certain cynicism about the universe. He does what he can to mend the wounded, but that's never enough in his eyes. It comes down to peace or justice. Pike is for peace, M'Benga is for justice. We'll have to see how that plays out down the road. Really good episode, rather downbeat and ambiguous, and a lot of food for thought. So, sorry to leave you on a down note, but that's the way this episode went. Please hit like, share, and subscribe. And stay tuned for next week when we have our musical episode.